How is everybody out there in TV land today? Hopefully well. Got some new things for the video, or some things for the new video rather. Alright. So, I'm going to start working on what we're going to call the Scoot. And I've been, for the past couple days now, very slowly, for the past couple days now, I've had this battery on a trickle charger, and it didn't seem to want to take the battery charger. Like, the battery charger would accept that there was a battery attached to it. Whenever I hit charge, it would automatically switch over to the battery recondition mode, and then promptly do nothing. So I put a trickle charger on it, kind of been periodically coming out here checking it, and it seems to be taking a charge from it, so I'll just let it creep on by. I don't need to, I mean, the whole thing's going to get tore down and completely rebuilt into something else before the battery goes back on it, so we got plenty of time. Today, I'm just going to start out. I figured to start the experience out, I will clean up a little bit. But I was thinking, and I kind of wanted to start out with just, you know, something easier that I know has to get done at one point or another anyhow. It's all going to come back off, of course, but it does need some fitment work. So I figured we'll start off with that just for funsies, and go from there. So what I got, once I get this done and out of the way, the steering wheel, a collar, I guess you would call it, and then some needle roller bearings to sort of help everything operate smoothly. And what needs to happen is this collar, I believe, is going to look really nice on there first and foremost, but this collar has a recess down here in the bottom, and with this little recess that's on here, it won't fit and work the way I need it to. So I'm going to tape it up really good so that I don't scratch all the nice shiny chrome, and then I'm going to take my angle grinder and buzz that off, and then I'll sort of go around it and sand it smooth or whatever. I won't polish it or anything. I'm not trying to make it, you know, the cut metal look like this, because this will be down, you won't even really see the bottom of this anyhow. And I will go over this again when I go to put it on the tractor. But so first, tape this up, I'm gonna cut this recess off, and then we'll come back. So we've reached our first little stage here where I need to sort of reassess how I'm going to do what I want to do. I have cut the little neck down to where I thought it needed to be, right? And then put it up against the tractor, and it still wasn't going to work. I don't want to really I can, if I have to. I can shave it down more, quite a bit more. But even if I did, I don't necessarily think it would matter, and I'll show you why. So this is the dashboard, I guess we'll call it, or the console or whatever. And you can see the little spot here where your steering comes out, right? So here's that collar. I shaved it down. And the problem is that the rod that would hold this on, that originally held the steering wheel, still doesn't make it to these teepees in here. And that's what kind of interlocks everything together. So when you turn the wheel, it turns that bar that then turns the wheels of the tractor. So I have a couple of options. Like I said, I can cut this down. I'd prefer to not do that. There is going to be some work on this anyhow. Like, these are for lights. This is not where I'm going to have that instrument, so that hole needs to be closed over. This is an amp meter or something of the sort. Completely useless to me, so that's going. That will be a hole that needs to be closed over. I fully intend on switching from a hand throttle to a foot, like a gas pedal in your car. So this will be a hole that needs to be filled. The choke I would like to keep right where it's at, just because I feel like I'll probably still need it. Potentially, I don't know. We'll see. Of course, so these stickers are coming off because they're now worthless. I probably will not keep the key in the same spot because I'm gonna go with my key push button switch, so that'll go roughly right around in this area, so everything fits and looks nice. And so that will be another hole that needs to be filled. So now, having said all of that, I think what I've decided to do, so if we can look on the back here, there is, you can't really see it because the light's not showing too well, but there's a recess that from the other side I'm going to grind that down so that my collar fits. The problem is this reset, if I were to just do that now, I would make it to a point to where I would grind away everything connecting the outside to this inside where the steering rod goes through. I don't want to do that, obviously. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get in here and sort of scruff and scratch all of this up so there's a good surface for some body fill to bond to. And just go through, mix up a pretty decent coat, and just kind of chunk this whole area full of body fill, and then sort of go from the other side and shave this down, right, until I can get that to sit the way I want it to. That's the idea at this point in time. We'll see if that does what I think it's going to do. If not, I don't know. We'll move on to something else. It's fine. So when last we left off, I had shaved that down and realized there was going to be some changes that needed to be made to my plan. So I put the last of my body fill, mixed it up, and took the last of my hardener, which didn't look anywhere near enough. Started to work at this. So I don't really feel like digging in the trash. I mean, there's nothing like disgusting in there or anything like that, but I just don't want to dig around in the trash for it to prove myself. Like this stuff. Oh yeah, see here. It feels like rubber instead of being the rock hard that it normally gets. It made it into that rubber state. Like I mixed it and was standing right here, mixed it, scooped up a glop of it, and by the time I had made it from here to here, it was rubber. So all of that got cleaned out. That's all right. I need to so down in here where I will be filling it, if I can hang on a second. So what we can see is I've kind of roughed it up a little bit since I now have to go to town and get body fill. I'm gonna take the opportunity. I'll take the Dremel tool and really get down in there with a a pointy stone bit or whatever, and really kind of rough it up. That way, the body fill that I do get down in there has the most it possibly can to grip onto on that smooth plastic. But as previously stated, I don't have any body fill on hand, so before I go into town today, because I just got home from work, I have the tractor to a point. I got, of course, that dashboard, center console thing, whatever that's off. I got all of the wiring stripped out of it. The engine is all but just the 4 bolts and then the belt. It's the only thing that's got to come off of there. I took the cover off of the what was once upon a time the muffler area of this thing. It's not going to be that anymore. I'll elaborate further on down the road, but this is going to be gone. I have a replacement muffler, but I need to sort of get it to go this way. And yeah, we'll cover that when we get there. But then today, I might get this done before I leave. I'm not too sure exactly when I'm leaving, to be honest with you. I might be here real soon, but if not, all of this is coming off the front axle area because all of it's getting replaced. And really, once I make it down to that point, it's engine off, clean it really well. We're fabricating stuff then, because I'm gonna take the front suspension off of. Now I believe I've covered this before, by the way, but in case you missed it, I'm gonna take the front suspension off of a little 4-wheeler that I bought for parts. I bought for the front suspension of it because getting it that way is way cheaper than buying the parts brand new. And those are gonna get welded on in this general area. I'll try and keep it as close as possible to that, but I don't know. We'll see how she goes as she goes. I did have at work last night, I went and got, and I don't know if I'll be able to do this or not, but I went and made like a rail, and I'm going to shove that back in there, and I'm going to weld it. At least at the current point in time, that's what I'm planning on doing, is welding it in. I was kind of initially trying to think of using these mounting holes, but if I was going to do that, I'd want the rail to be able to get the first one and the last one on both sides, just to have it be as strong of a connection as possible. So, and the rail that I made isn't that, I guess I could put it like that in there, but it's not really what I'm trying to do. I wanted it to be this way, as opposed to that. We'll see what we're doing. Like I said, I got limited time, so yeah. An unspecified amount of time, just a couple of days. So I've got my body fill, and I made my little body fill puck, I guess. I filled all that in. As you can see, it's not pretty, but this is the underside, so it doesn't have to be pretty. Now, what I will do is start to grind this down, and I'm not entirely sure at this point, but at the current point in time, I figure I'm gonna have to go all the way down to this plane here. So a good inch, give or take, of material's got to come off of that. And then what I will probably do, just to ensure that the body fill puck on the underneath doesn't become loose over time, just from any kind of vibrations or weather or anything like that, I will probably then go over the top of it with maybe a thin coat and sort of sand it down and make the top side of it look pretty, you know, and presentable. And then of course I'll paint it or whatever. I did have an idea at work last night that I wanted to cover just real quick before I started work today. So I'm pretty sure I had mentioned this before once already, but so this is where the throttle was. This is no longer necessary. The choke, I believe I'm going to keep it in the same spot, but I sort of have a plan for it. And then this is where, what was this? Key? Yeah, this is where the key was. I'm going to utilize a different system for that. So now this hole is kind of sort of going to be in my way. At least the raised portion of it is going to be in my way. So what I want to do is I'm going to once again make my little faux wood panels. And I figure I can shave this down and get it flat with this plane. And shave this down and get it flat with this plane. And then go through and sort of measure up what I need. Print another set, I guess, of my faux wood panels. And, you know, get them painted up and do all that stuff. I don't know exactly what I'm going to get done today, but we definitely have time to tinker. Well, so I'm sat here. I'm obviously not too tore up about it. You know, it's fine. So I started grinding on the top half of that to try and make it down to the body fill so I could even that out. You know, I'm not supposed to be drinking alcohol for, you know, medical reasons. I got the gout, and I feel like I might need a couple beers, you know, just to laugh at myself and enjoy the weekend. Let me get up. Just going to show you. So here we are, and here we are. It's not that the puck didn't stick to the plastic, because it very much did stick to at least some of the plastic. I guess it just didn't stick to the area that I needed it to stick to. I think I'll still be all right though. What I can do now, well, now that I have this as it is, I can hopefully undo this clamp. Hang on. We back. So, what I can do now, as the broom falls onto the floor, is I can kind of better get in here and scratch all of this up. I mean, like, just really get at it. And then I can maybe, I don't know, maybe I can tape that off and just kind of schmoo a coat of body fill over the top of that. It may have worked out in my favor, because last night at work I was sort of researching exactly how the steering on an ATV or a four-wheeler works, because it's going to have to be a different way of steering than a lawnmower, right? So from what I want to do, this system here it's not going to do what I need it to do. I'm not going to be able to hook that up to the four-wheeler front suspension and have it work just the same and have me be able to steer the unit. So I was initially going to try and just reuse a lot of the steering stuff from the four-wheeler. I'm not entirely sure that that's going to be the case now, just because some of the stuff that I've seen last night. But in any case, even if I did reuse or was able to reuse the stuff from the four-wheeler, the the angle of the dangle is going to be different anyhow. Like the lawnmower steering is more a bit more vertical, and in order for the, I guess the sort of the rack and pinion steering on an ATV or whatever is it's a bit more at a slant. There's a lot of figuring out to do there, but at this point in time, I know this for sure. I was going to have to alter the angle of the steering rod anyhow. So, you know, I mean, it might have worked out in my favor. I'll keep plugging away at this. I still have to, again, sand that down. So we're fine. We'll just move right along, you know. Did some overestimating at work last night, I guess. So I got 2 pieces of this, I believe it's 12 gauge galvanized. And now I don't need anywhere near this much material. I don't know really well. Okay, so what I was thinking was something like this, but it's not necessary, right? At least in my mind, like looking at it now, this isn't necessary. And then plus 2, I think I got like way too much material. You know, it's almost double. You know, almost double. So I could do something like this though. Cut this in half, which is I still have almost double the amount of material that I need, but whatever. I guess I could just use some for whatever else I might find. And then of course I got the rail to go in the front there. I'm getting ready to go into town though. I got some random stuff I need to pick up, and so on and so forth, you know. So I don't really know. I was thinking that before I did that, I could get a little bit further on this. This has been drying for, I don't know, a day and a half or something like that at this point, and so should be good. I might could just real quick before I leave scratch this stuff down, see how far I can get on it. I tried to make sure I didn't get too much body fill laid down, so I didn't have a bunch of work now. But also at the same time, I needed enough, you know. So I might scratch on this for a little bit before I leave and see how far I get. I got something in my eye. Hello. So we're back out in the garage for another day. I've already kind of been out here a little bit. I wanted to get some stuff completed, or at least moved forward a bit before I jumped in and started rambling. So on the center console here, I've got it to a certain point. I think maybe I might need to add a little bit more fill in some spots. You can see this here, these spots that I'm starting to hit plastic around it, and I still have this in here, so that'll maybe get another really thin layer, and then down here as well in this section. But then up here in the corners, you can see I still have, like you can see that one there, I still have a big ridge there of material to get wore down, and the same kind of up here, and there I'm hitting plastic, so it might get a thin coat in spots just to even stuff out, but then I got some pretty big ridges here still yet. This bottom section down here I was already aware going into it was going to kind of give me a little bit of guff because it was kind of doing one of those just as it was. So I knew that one was going to be a thing. Other than that, I started sort of tinkering with the front of the frame here. I still need to get the engine off of it, but I don't necessarily want to do that just quite yet. For one, because I don't really have a spot to keep it that's not in the way. But then for two, it's not really necessary quite yet. But what I've been working on is I got this section here where the old axle used to go through. I got it squared because the front was kicked out here quite a bit. So I got my C-clamps in and I got it squared, and I got this plane level, and then I took I got 2 pieces here that I fastened to where I needed them and sort of traced out shape, and then I'll just mirror that. I'll flop that over onto this other bottom section that ain't used, cut 2 of them out, weld them on the side there. That'll make that a solid little section there, instead of having that'll be a weak point if I don't. And then this is the rail that's going across the front of it. Turns out I need to cut roughly about that much off of it in order for it to fit in between here. The measurement that I took initially was from inside to inside, but this one over here was kicked out quite a bit. And so then I went in with a hammer and straightened them out and got everything squared. So now I need to cut that little bit off of there, but we're cruising right along. I feel okay about it. I will say at this point in time, I won't give too much information, but I have some sort of bad news about the Craftsman. Tomorrow we'll really seal the deal on that. I got some stuff to take care of, and we'll see what happens. By the time this video goes up, you guys will probably already know if you pay attention to the shorts. But this is what we're doing today. I don't know how much longer I'll be out here, but we'll see what we can get done. Got the first little bit of the frame welded in there, you can see. I don't feel like getting up out of my chair, so we're just going to go zoom in. There is a plate on the other side that is exactly the same. I can now pull off my little C-braces there, C-clamps, whatever they are. That should be held together pretty solid with little bits that I welded on there. And I'll be able to now fit that rail that's going across the front 2 little forks there and get that welded in. So new day here in the shop. Did get some work. I think the last thing I talked about, I was going to weld the bits onto the front frame and do the rail. I've done that, and I've also pulled the next section, or well, section I guess, of the build into the garage, and I have to tear it down and extract the parts that I need. So first, I guess, here are the bits. I welded that plate on, welded the rail on, and there's another plate over here. I believe when I first talked about the rail, I was thinking about doing, tilting it down and having this up and down. Decided against that. I kind of mocked it up and put it in there, and it looked like it hung down way too low. And I figured it'll probably do a little bit more supporting in that fashion or order, orientation, whatever. So now the next part of it is going to be taking this thing, and what I want to do, my idea is that I want to chop off probably about right there, and then about right there on the frame, and take that whole front section off. And then I will cut it in half and put each half on its corresponding side. I'm sure that there are going to have to be at least a couple of braces to support those things coming up off of the main frame here on either side. I haven't really gotten that far. I'm still kind of just contemplating on exactly where I want to cut it to get the most out of all the material that's on there, and then it'll be figuring out exactly where to put it. I will probably only get to tearing this down, because because I'm doing that, pretty much the whole thing is going to be taken apart. I will salvage whatever bits I can from it to use for other stuff. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Well, alright folks, I figure what I can do to sort of pad out some of the time in this video, since we had one for a little bit, I can do a time lapse with a little bit of background music to tear this down, get everything sorted out. Fingers crossed, I might actually have the engine already sold, so that'll be neat. One less thing for me to trip over. But yeah, so I'm just gonna get down to work, and hopefully I can get everything taken care of today. I doubt it, but we'll see where we get.
I woke up with the dawn, fields stretching wide, sun kissed the earth where dreams collide. Saw the children playing, hearts full of light, in a world right now where wrongs turn to right. The old mill's quiet, wheels stuck in time, whispers of stories lost in the grind. Wishing all the stars that flicker so true, where horizons glow, a better world brew. Oh, we're hoping for a day when the wind's always kind, and the rivers tell tales of peace we find. In a world stitched together, no room for the fight, with every heart beating in the soft moonlight. Greyhound buses roll, trails left to seek, under rainbow skies, our future we speak. We build the bridges over valleys deep, on these old paths where the willow trees sleep. Oh, we're hoping for a day when the wind's always kind, and the rivers tell tales of peace we find. In a world stitched together, no room for the fight, with every heart beating in the soft moonlight. Grains of sin fall through our hands, planting dreams across these lands. Every whisper, every prayer, echoes of hope in the morning air. Oh, we're hoping for a day when the wind's always kind, when the rivers tell tales of peace we find. In a world stitched together, no room for the fight, with every heart beating in the soft moonlight. Greyhound buses roll, trails left to see, under rainbow skies, our future we speak. We build the bridges over valleys deep, on these old paths where the willow trees sleep. Oh, we're hoping for a day when the wind's always kind, when the rivers tell tales of peace we find. In a world stitched together, no room for the fight, with every heart beating in the soft moonlight.
Here we are, a handful of days later. Some good old-fashioned elbow grease. We have a measure of result, I suppose we can say, for now. I got another coat slathered on here, and I got it worked back down. You can still see I got a little bit of some indentation going on there. I'm gonna paint the thing, but then as well, and I believe I've talked about these once already, but you know, it's gonna cover it. So I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm actually gonna print more of those. They won't be straight slabs like that. They'll have a little bit of a shape to them, but I'm gonna print some out that go in this area here and this area over here. That's why I went ahead and just went and painted this already to see what if I was going to use this or maybe a little bit more of a satin, because I believe this is matte. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of the matte. I think it'll look pretty decent, especially, you know, once I get everything in there. You know, the painted to look like a piece of wood, the key, and all the stuff. I feel alright about where it's at, so that'll now, I'll probably spray it off again with some Windex just to get all the stuff off of it, and then this will get painted. Oh, well, actually no, let me not get ahead of myself. So the next step for this, just thinking about looking at it, is on this side for sure, and then I think I'm going to move the choke up here, so that'll be, I'll need to cut a hole through that, and then actually thinking I might need to go ahead and print another one of these. Either that or just try and cut a hole in this. I don't know, this stuff doesn't really hold up very well to drill bits, I've found out. So I'll see what I want to do with that, but then I also need to cut a hole in here. I don't know if I'll just like section a big chunk of it, or if I'll actually try and like drill out specific sized holes for what I need to do. I haven't really thought about that, but yeah, that'll be the next step on that. And then over here, I got the four-wheeler completely broken down. You guys seen that in the time lapse. Forgive the trash truck in the background, but then yeah, I got all of that broken apart. Well, cut apart, and I got them just mocked up there with the magnets, you can see. I think that's about where I need it. I'm not entirely sure, if I'm being absolutely honest. I need to get, so the wheels on the back of this thing are going to be bigger, so it's actually going to sit up a little bit higher. And I kind of would want it to be at the desired ride height to, you know, to check and make sure that these are where they need to be, up and down, either way, you know. And it's looking like I'm going to need to get, yeah, I'm going to need to weld some sort of cross members or something down underneath there to help support the bottom of that. I will need probably to do some kind of strut support thing in that area. And then plus two, there's going to be, I do have the plan. Now this will be a little bit further down the road, but the plan is I'm going to take this and put it on front there, right? But I'm going to hammer the top section of this out and sort of round it off and make it look as close to when, you know, the ye olde radiator grill section of the hot rods. I don't know how that's going to turn out just quite yet, but that's the idea. That's what I'm shooting for. We got those on there. Well, we got them mocked up at least. I feel like they're in an okay spot. I still do have some cleanup to do on them individually, like the end caps here. I'll need to weld them closed. I got some bits that I need to grind off still, and they'll get repainted and stuff. So I suppose really that'll be probably it for this one. I think that'll be a good amount of stuff to start the next video off on. If not, that'll be the next video. That'll be what it's on. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am probably a little bit more excited about this project than I really should be. It's an idea that I've had in my head, and it's not unique really by any means. I've seen other guys do what I'm trying to do with this thing. It's not going to be a race mower. It'll be a fun little cart, you know, a unique little vehicle that people can point at and be like, what the hell's that, going down the road. But I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.